Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan Wells, and I talk about real estate, finance, and how to make smart moves with your money without falling for the hype. Today, I want to talk about a topic that's been gaining a lot of traction, and to be honest, it's a little controversial. Companies like Rocket Mortgage and now a new player called Mesa are offering something called a homeownership credit card. And yes, you heard that right, a credit card that supposedly helps you save for a new house. But while this sounds innovative and maybe even helpful, I'm going to break down why I think it could become a serious problem for both consumers and the mortgage industry. And if you're somebody who's thinking about buying a home or just curious about how lenders and fintech are evolving, stick around because this one matters. Let's start with, what is a homeownership credit card? So what exactly is a homeownership credit card? Well, let's start with Rocket Mortgage. They rolled out a co-branded Visa card that gives you 5% back on purchases up to $8,000 a year. And that cash back can be applied directly towards your closing costs or your interest rate when you buy a home through them. This means you could earn $400 a year towards your mortgage by simply using their credit card. Mesa, which is another company in this space, also launched a similar product. Their focus is on rewarding spending on things like gas, groceries, childcare, and your everyday expenses. It's a new take on loyalty programs, which instead of points for flights or hotels, you're earning points towards homeownership. Sounds like a win-win, right? Well, hold that thought. So let's give some credit here where credit's due. No pun intended. From a marketing standpoint, this is genius. You're tying in everyday consumer spending with a long-term life goal like buying a home. For younger consumers especially, the idea of gamifying the path to homeownership is compelling. It gives people a sense of progress and it makes something overwhelming feel more achievable. On the surface, it seems like the credit card is just another tool in your financial toolbox. Swipe it on what you're already spending on, get some rewards, and eventually use those rewards to help you close on your dream home. But now let's look under the hood, because in reality, this model has some serious flaws. Now, this is where it gets tricky and why I want to push back on the hype. If you use this card responsibly, and I mean perfectly, it could give you a small financial boost. But what happens if you carry a balance? Let's say you spend $8,000 and you earn that $400 in rewards. Great. But if you don't pay off that balance and the card carries a 24% APR, you can end up paying thousands in interest over time. So that $400 reward just cost you $2,000. Not so great anymore. And worse yet, which is the part I see firsthand in the mortgage world, is what happens to your credit score. If a borrower is using this card and they're not managing it perfectly, the utilization goes up. Maybe they miss a payment. Suddenly their credit score drops. And that drop could be the exact reason why they no longer qualify for a mortgage. So now you have a credit product designed to help people come into homeownership that could be the reason they get denied for a loan in the first place. Now, let's break this down with some simple math. To earn $400 in rewards, you need to spend $8,000. If you're already spending that on regular expenses and paying the credit card off in full every month, fine. But the average American carries over $6,000 in credit card debt, and the average interest rate is over 20%. So if you're using this card and slipping into that kind of debt, or even just carrying a balance occasionally, you're losing way more than you're gaining. And let's be honest, a $400 credit towards closing costs isn't going to make or break your ability to buy a home. It's a nice perk, but it's not a game changer. And if it comes at the cost of getting stuck in credit card debt or damaging your credit file before applying for a mortgage, personally, I just don't think it's worth it. Now, let me take off my content creator hat and speak as somebody who actually works in this business. I personally run a branch, and if a mortgage company starts pushing a credit product and that product leads to higher default rates, it's not just bad for consumers, it's bad for a lender's reputation. Imagine the PR disaster. A borrower gets denied because they used your branded card, or they get a worse rate because the utilization spiked right before they applied. Even though that's not technically your fault, it doesn't matter. It becomes a branded trust issue. People talk, and in this market, trust is currency. So while it might seem like a smart play to build brand loyalty, the downside risk in terms of both reputation and consumer outcomes is massive. Now, keeping things completely fair, there is a niche group that this might work for. If you're someone who always pays off your balance in full, never spends more than you normally would, and has a clear timeline for buying a home, this could be a way to squeeze out a few $100 in savings. But let's not pretend that's the norm. Most of the people who are attracted to these kinds of programs are first-time home buyers. They're often younger, maybe working on building their credit, or trying to figure out how to save up for their down payment. And giving somebody a credit card to solve a savings problem, that's giving a match to somebody who's trying to get warm. And it might work, or it might burn their house down. Now, what would I recommend? Instead of pushing credit cards, here's what I would rather see from the mortgage industry. More automated savings tools tied to checking accounts, better financial coaching built into the home buying process, education around budgeting, credit improvement, and building emergency savings. You don't need to swipe a card to become a homeowner. You need a plan, a budget, and the right support system. Rewards are cool, but responsibility wins. So what do you think? Am I overreacting, or did you see the same risks that I do? do? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you got value from this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and share it with somebody who's thinking about buying their first home. Until next time, stay smart, stay intentional, and don't let a cashback offer steer you away from your biggest financial decision.